I guess if it was too much different size, I fell in too.
Exactly.
College Commissioner meeting to order on August 10th, 2015.
Already got it down.
Oh, okay.
Stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One behind the judge had to use the courtroom. So we'll start off with a public comment, not in a minute. Commissioner, give me an update.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Real short and sweet. We bought those 2 4-wheelers last year, or I guess it was this year, from Townsend Marine, because the one we had wasn't very functional, it's still not functional. The Search and Rescue has their fundraiser pig roast coming up on September 5th, and they've asked if they could raffle or auction off that 4-wheeler to take the funds from that and put it in the maintenance account budget for Search and Rescue, because we seem to always get pretty short in that area. And since we're not using it because it's not worthy for rescue travels, because it strands us more often than not, they've asked me to come in and just see if I can get a blessing to do so. Like I said, with those funds coming back to be put back into the maintenance budget, to kind of build that up a little bit for the year, so.
I'll make a motion that we grant approval to Search and Rescue to raffle that at the pig roast.
Yeah, I'd second that.
It's been moved to second. Search and Rescue, go ahead and dispose of their 4-wheeler at their annual fundraiser.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion.
Thank you. We'll get the title stuff thing. So.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Have a good day, Win.
thank you guys.
Thanks, Wayne.
And John Hedstrom called me, so I got ahold of Corey. He had all the information there, so I just gave it to the Search and Rescue.
Did you want these statutes or anything? The statute doesn't allow you guys to do that,
Does not?
It does.
Oh.
It just says, procedure for sale of property of a lesser value. The property would be sold value less than 25, or it can be either public or private sale as the Board of County Commissioners determine to be in the best interest of the county. So, that's 7-8/2217. So, this whole thing actually pertains to authorization for sale as set forth by commissioners that was provided by Corey Swanson. So, it is, you all have the authority to do so. So, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Any updates or anything else?
For commission community update, I attended the school's transportation meeting representing this commission last Thursday night at 6. And they're thinking of buying a new bus. Another bus. They say they're short a bus. And I guess one of them had an accident. And they didn't go into details on that, but they're looking at a pretty snazzy bus, I might say.
Oh, is this for team travel then?
I think so.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
good investment.
And my Montana Minute is, I think we're really blessed to have the staff we have here in this county. They work together well, all of them, and they work hard. So hats off to those guys. I think they do great.
Ditto. My Montana Minute is not only dittoing what you said, you're absolutely right, but I want to just salute the volunteers. Wayne was here representing a group of volunteers with Search and Rescue. We'll be getting together this afternoon with Ed Schindel, who works with a group of volunteers with Rural Fire. We have a variety of boards. We'll be hearing from Brian, who has a solid waste board, all volunteers. Tonight is the Fair and Rodeo joint meeting, all volunteers. This community really rocks and rolls because of its volunteers, and I'm humbled by the dedication that those people have to our community. So, huge Montana Minute and a huge thank you.
I agree completely.
My community update, just a couple of little things. I'll bring this up a little bit later, or maybe now actually. There were a variety of meetings this week, but one of them was the city council meeting on the building project. I have a couple of emails I'm going to share, a couple of documents I'll share with you. Corey wrote down in a memo for the city council how they could work with us on this and not in any way hinder what they're doing with the water rights on the property. So I have a copy for you guys, and I'm also going to include a copy for you and for the minutes. But that way you guys are aware of what the city council had. I don't believe they read it prior to making their vote, because there were some follow-up questions, and the answer was, not from me, but turn to page 2 and you'll find that. So I wrote the first and the last paragraphs, the first paragraph and number 4. Corey wrote the others, so the legal jargon is appropriate. And then, excuse me, the city council did decide to table indefinitely until another proposal is brought forward by the county, the decision to use that land for making sure that our fair and rodeo grounds isn't landlocked into the future, and providing an agricultural site to honor Broadwater County Ag and all the other plans that we had, also keeping search and rescue close to the EOC. But what Corey did do is he sent an email. Some of it isn't for public consumption, so I didn't print the whole thing. But a sentence in the email is, I recommend you work with your team to get all the ducks in a row, and then we can do a review meeting of all the documents, the proposed water, sewer, street plan, and the final drafted document. So in the interest of that, we have voted on this 12 times, different elements, different points. So I just want to state that the team did meet Tuesday night, part of us, and decided that we would go to the SWAT that we all did together and look at the first option that we had planned on early on, and also the second option in the SWAT to the fair and rodeo grounds, and that is back to the Cedar Canister site. It is county property. It is on the border of Townsend, but it is in county, not in the city. So I guess before anything else, do you guys have any follow-up questions? And Franklin was at the meeting as well.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, if it's okay with you guys, I don't think we need this other than we have a fractured commission. We had a 3 vote on the last one. I just want to make sure we carry that forward. So in the interest of that, I would like to move that we, for clarity, that we go ahead and allow the engineer and maintenance and sanitarian to do what they need to do to proceed with the Cedar Canister site and any other entities that have work to do in that, for that site for moving forward.
I have a question.
Sure.
I don't know who owns it. I think I do, but I better not say out loud. The piece of property that is due south of the post office.
That is, I believe, Doug Brecker's, and it's held by Harvey Realty. That was brought up, and it's a fine idea. The problem is there was quite a bit of pushback from the business community. Again, to the same
Why?
with, well, it's the same as Land Tamer. Why would the government take viable, absolutely greatly placed land that could be commercial out of commercial production? We don't pay taxes. That's great commercial property. It also is not a good spot for search and rescue because you could be going through the light. That gets tremendously backed up in the summer. It's not safe for kids because it's on a major highway. So yeah, that was looked at, that was talked about Tuesday night after the meeting. But it doesn't make it makes as much sense as Land Tamer. There's some pluses to it, But it would probably be, if we did a full SWAT on it, would probably be tying with Fourth with Land Tamer.
What is the status of that property at Charlie Reagan's?
That is in, Nicole is working on that. It would not be a site for our project, but it very well could be a site for recreation, including the football field that Mike Delger and Mike Malay are working on in the Parks and Rec Board. You bet, yeah. So to allow our group to move forward on what needs to be done to, in my mind, hopefully get this done before the cold of winter starts, is there a second?
Yes. So,
Okay, what is the motion? Are you pertaining to this letter, or what is your motion?
My
Your motion is this letter.
Oh heavens, no, Franklin. This letter is just bringing you up to speed on what happened Tuesday night at the city council.
I was there at
meeting.
the council meeting.
I'm glad. This letter, again, is just bringing you up to speed on what happened in the city council meeting, what the county proposed to the city council. It's now a matter of record for the county. The email sentence read is from the county attorney. My motion, again, is to go ahead and go back to the first plan, which was number 2 on the SWAT, to the Fair and Rodeo Grounds idea, and clarifying that we support moving ahead with that spot, which is the Cedar site, so that the people who have homework to do can go ahead and get that done so that we can move forward,
you keep moving.
to keep moving, yeah. And
And
I
I
call,
second it.
and I call for the question.
And second, to allow the study again on the North Cedar site for the building project. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
It's not a study, it's actually doing the homework required to actually continue moving
Still
forward.
a study. What else would you call it?
It's not, it's homework, we have some work to do as far as drilling test pits. We have some work to do as far as the layout. Those aren't studies, that's actually homework, so that we have a presentation so everybody can see and have all the facts so that we can go ahead and make decisions moving forward. Also this week, we have the CBA, which was sent to you guys. Prior to signing that, Corey would like a market adjustment policy. We had the evaluations came out this week. Of course, you guys were emailed on that as well, and then there was a safety meeting. So that's all I have.
I call for the question.
I think we voted,
Already did.
didn't we?
No, I didn't hear you vote.
Yeah, I went along with it. I was accused of saying it was a study and it's homework. For what it's worth. Anyway, and I finished attending the city council meeting on Tuesday. Any public comments from last week, Mr. Dennison? Okay. Okay, we'll move on around quite a ways behind to Brian Holmes Solid Waste.
Morning.
Good morning, Brian.
We don't have a whole lot to say because we've been running short-handed for about the last month. I just haven't had much to do other than haul trash, so. Short-handed due to vacations and an injury that was caused by, had an employee injured their back running an excavator. Stuff last week with that, back to work this week, but I don't know for how long. He didn't seem to be quite 100% this morning. I said, if you're not 100%, you should go home. And he said, well, I'll see what I do. So he's working, but I don't know for how long.
What actually happened?
Yeah, that's how.
I wasn't there, so I don't really know what actually happened. He's had problems with his lower back before, and it was aggravated by running the excavator other, knowing that, that's all I know about it. The garbage has been busy. I mean, we've seen quite an increase. I think I told you before about over the last fiscal year, we've seen about a 5% increase in the trash. Whether that's due to the fact that the county's growing in population, new construction, whatever, it's just there. And I do have a deal from my solid waste board. We talked about it with the building project and what's going on with that. They directed me to go ahead and look at what it would take to get a shed, a building, over our cardboard baler. We've had some problems with that, with operations in wet weather and in really hot weather. It doesn't like it really hot and it doesn't like it wet. So what I did is went to Montana Post Frame and said, what would it cost me to build a 20 by 30 foot three-wall construction around that baler to cover it and give us a little room to store our equipment in. And they did that. Came back at just a titch under $11,000 to do that building. So I don't know.
Your floor?
Dirt floor, just walls and a little electrical inside for plugging in equipment. That's about all it would be.
How's your budget look?
What I turned in looked fine. I haven't seen much since. You know, it's a new year, it's probably good. We've got some money in there for equipment and that kind of thing that I think this would fall under. So it's probably okay.
I was reviewing your budget and it looks darn good, actually. Black Mountain will be here to help close out last year. Kim's coming this week,
Okay.
our auditor. But yeah, I just thought you'd have that in your back pocket, but no, your budget looks darn good.
I think we're pretty good. I think I talked to you a week or so ago about, I have been given read-only access to the budget side of Black Mountain. I'm not a Black Mountain expert by any means, so any training they have for that would be good. But the only thing I can't seem to find on there, going back to the way our reports used to look, is the cash account, that cash reserve account. I have a hard time figuring out which line item that is in the new reporting. And that's the only one that has me concerned, because the last time I saw it, the way I understood it, there was a significant amount of money in there, and now, I don't know, because I can't see that line item.
That cash account is tough with Black Mountain. It changes all the time. I have a cash report from, about 2 weeks ago, that Debbie said, wait till we get the books closed and then we'll have a definite, because it
Yeah.
does change on a daily basis. But that even looked good.
So we need a shed over that cardboard baler. I don't know if we should go ahead and pull the trigger on that little project or not. Even if the building is built at the Cedar site, we're still gonna need a shed over a cardboard baler. So it's kind of a catch-22. We go on our own and do our own thing and not participate in the building that's gonna be built. And then we'll have a picture we're done. Or we wait and see what happens. So,
And on that cardboard, you're just losing money out all the time. I don't see why you should even worry about putting a building on it. Over it, if we're gonna keep mailing it, you pick the days that you can mail.
we have to bail every day. It's turning into a full-time job.
But we're losing money on it.
Define losing money.
Could just well be, sure it costs something to take it to the landfill, but
It costs us $30 a ton to have it buried at the landfill. The last cardboard I sold, we sold two batches. We had one truck go to Great Falls that was $30 a ton. So that was a total offset, that cost. Another one went to the coast for $115 a ton, minus $900 freight. That's a savings to our department.
well, yeah.
So are you saying we should get out of the recycling business?
We're losing money, I guess. The thing is.
Show me how we're losing money.
It was just recently here, you said the cardboard was $5 a ton.
The price went up. It's a commodity. It goes up and down. So we didn't ship any cardboard when it was $5 a ton. We stockpiled it. We waited till the price went up, so it helped our budget out. That's called management, and that's what I do. If you're saying we should get out of the recycle business, I think you need to have a public hearing on that.
Nothing wrong with that.
So, where are we at? Do I go ahead and tell Post Frame that I could build a building? Or do I wait and see where we're at with the building project and let our cardboard baler continue to be problematic?
Well, that's my idea on it. I don't see where we should spend any more money on it. The cardboard, another person was hired to just take care of the recycling.
They were
And
hired
there's
to
more
do other
equipment was
options,
used.
but the job has grown since we hired him. We generate more cardboard than we used to because we expanded operations to our rural sites as well. So yes, we've spent money on the cardboard side of things. But for every ton we don't haul to the landfill, it saves us money.
Well, I question that, but that's my idea on it, my feelings.
Would you, for the benefit of the rest of the commission, bring some evidence forward to justify questioning one of our managers on something that to a great deal of us seems to be a no-brainer? What is it that we're missing, Franklin? Can you please bring something forward for us to see and review on this? i.e. that recycling the cardboard is costing the county money.
I talked to several different ones throughout this area, and they all say recycling, it loses money.
And their expertise is what?
Well, they're involved with it. County, I got those figures somewhere. To date that one time, this is about, I don't know when I got them, probably a year ago when this first was starting around. They've lost 1.7 million it cost them for their recycling.
Where was that?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're generating profit recycling. What I'm saying is it offsets the cost of hauling things to a landfill, which in time saves us money because you're not having to pay for the new landfill cells that are gonna have to be built. It extends time to your landfill.
Well, and I think it makes sense. Any rancher that has equipment that is covered, their equipment is in a lot better shape. And so it makes sense to build a building, even if it's three-sided, over, just to get it out of the weather. It extends the life.
Well, I agree with you, Elaine. I did that from the very start when I first started. I did some check down there about on the county building down there. Some could be done on it. And also wanted to check on that.
And whatever came of that.
That was pretty much shot down. Everybody kind of forgot about it.
I never heard anything out of it.
I didn't either. I don't know what you're saying about being shut down. Can you
Whenever I mentioned,
expand?
and the other one, I'm still in favor of checking out. I didn't say it would be good or bad, I wanted to find out, wasn't that building the county has down there, that steel building. And at that time, I had that information, where it come from, and I suggested that somebody go to their contractor, take the measurements while it was available and everything, because it seems like nobody can find the spec for this.
And the solid waste department did have that building looked at. And they came back with a cost of $300,000 to build that building. You have that in your records. It was a study done by Great West Engineering that the solid waste department paid for. And you chose to ignore it. So, you've seen that information. You know what it cost to rebuild that building.
That was that one figure. Yes.
So, you want me to spend $300,000 versus $10,800?
No, this wasn't just solid waste. That building would have took care of the storage, if I remember right now, this
When I looked at that, it
70
was
by
to take care of what we
80,
needed for
18-foot
cardboard.
sidewalls and stuff like that.
When I looked at that building, it was to take care of what we needed for the recycling program. To put our baler in, because we were also looking at buying the old Perry building that was purchased out from under us. So, I've got a
Plain and
clear.
simple, I'm against putting money into something that we lose money at. That's it. In other words, whatever you wanna do, that's,
And I would reiterate my request, Franklin, if you're gonna make those kinds of statements, I would like to see some corroborating evidence that they are factual and based in some kind of
We
managerial
lose money
business.
at solid waste management. So are you against the county running the solid waste program?
you say we're losing money at that?
We make enough to get by.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
We're not out to make huge profits.
No, okay.
Um,
Like I said that in the report.
It costs
if it's
the county
making-
money
If
to
it's
haul
making- if it's bringing in so much money, I've been hit up as better lower the fees then.
So then we're at a point where when we do need money, we need to come to you and ask for money out of PILT, or we need to raise the fees every 6 months to keep our feet afloat. So does that make sense?
You just said that a minute ago how much it was bringing in to the solid waste and how good the budget was and everything.
Right now, we're in good shape.
That's a positive. Let's not kill it. That's a positive, Franklin. Fees have.
There's a lot of county programs that cost us money.
I know that.
But solid waste is not one of them.
Well, it's, people, taxpayers pay that.
Fee payers pay it for solid
Yeah.
waste.
Yeah, it's the same as a tax, it's a fee or a tax, I mean, it's still the same.
No,
It's-
if you live outside of the district, you don't pay. And you're not supposed to be throwing your trash away here. That's how that works. So there's people that live in
Oh, well-
Broadwater County that do not pay solid waste fees.
Oh, I know this, down at the south end, absolutely. One time had a discussion that time down there, and I remember they weren't interested in joining up because they said they could take their garbage to Logan for about half what it'd cost to be on the county.
And that's where
But
they
that's
should take
beside
it.
the point now, I'm not.
So why do I find trash from people on the south end of the county in our canisters in Foster and Raidersburg?
Because there's some that are in the district, other than that, I don't know.
They're not in the district. They live outside of the district. They're
But
dumping
they're
their.
paying to be
No,
here.
some pay.
Yeah, that's what I
The
said.
ones that I find the trash for, that I've sent letters to, that say you're not a fee payer, don't use our dumpsters anymore, are exactly that. They're trying to get away with something for nothing.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'd like to bring that south end of the county into our district, so then we don't have to deal with that. But somebody, before the meeting we had down there, told people we were gonna put a canister site on Old Town Road.
We talked about it.
You talked about it.
You talked about putting one there at the dairy, and then closing Toston and Radersburg. I talked to people down there, and they were wanting a canister site down there, so I did some checking where one would be available. That's how
You
that
had a
come
deal
about.
worked out with people on Old Town Road that you had no business working out.
What?
That had never come to the solid waste board. The only time we heard about it was at that meeting. And there were people there that were not in favor of that. I think we could have got those people to come into the solid waste district. But you had tainted the water, so to speak.
I just got some information, that's all I got.
And you put it in the paper without bringing it to the solid waste board. I didn't care for that. My solid waste board didn't care for that. That's not how we do business.
That's the way that was set up.
That's water
To
under
have
the
that
bridge.
meeting.
I
That
know.
is, that's completely under the bridge, and we gotta keep moving on, we're running out of, where we started off.
So what can I
behind.
do with this project? Should I just go ahead and do it,
Brian?
or do I have your guys' support for it?
I will actually make a motion so that it's clear, again, for clarity, although I think an agreement would be fine, but again, because we're fractured, I will move that we support your decision moving forward with a building for your equipment as you see fit as the manager of your department, and a department that is fiscally sound, due akin to good fiscal management on your part as a supervisor.
I'll second that motion. And I think it's really important to get that machine under cover, so to speak. I don't think that being out in the weather, whether it be sun or rain or wind or snow, is good for it.
Okay.
We moved and second on the motion as stated. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Okay, I don't really have anything else to talk about.
I would like evidence brought to the commission, though, to support your statements, Franklin. I think that's only appropriate when you make statements on behalf of the citizens of this county. You need to have some kind of substance that supports it,
It backs it up.
that backs it up. Otherwise, you are just looking lost and feeble. I think it's a responsible thing to do, and I do formally put that request to you. Brian, thank
Okay.
you for
You
everything
have
you do.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
Okay. First, we need to vote for a public hearing to adopt a resolution on the Cabin Gulch fire. Is there any public comment on this?
Oh, well, I'll just make a public statement again. Although also acting as DES coordinator. I sent you the resolution, and has it changed any in substance?
No.
Okay. I think just, we're just doing a paperwork thing to get caught up
Right.
with DNRC and also with Forest Service. Commission did those acts as a group of three, like kind of an emergency situation. That letter needed to be sent, we didn't have time for commission meeting. We passed one out. It's a copy for the public. And if you have any questions for me or Ed, fire away.
No, it's pretty much straightforward, I would say.
Yeah, I think everything worked out really well. Thank you guys for your support on that too.
Is there any smoke at all up in there?
As of last week, they said they hadn't seen any since Tuesday. They went ahead and considered the fire contained fully, and they're just doing a patrol once in a while, once every 2 days or something like that, to see if they can find anything. The Forest Service is doing that,
Well, they did a great job, everyone did.
especially Mother Nature.
Yeah.
She helped.
We had good partnership all the way
Yes,
around.
we-
We'll,
We have this year.
no other comment, we'll close the public hearing, and resume our normal meeting. Apparently Jerry Partners, he might be downstairs in the commissioner room there. He does go down there. And so what we'll do, we'll go on to this
Want me
decision.
to write down a check, Commissioner?
No, that's okay. He knows that people are coming.
Oh,
We're getting caught up here within a few minutes of, we'll do a couple mail items before we go on to our 11 o'clock. Here's a letter from Linda Campbell. She moved her resignation up to October 8th.
She's not resigning.
Huh?
She's not resigning. No, she's not resigning.
she says.
She's
Our
retiring.
retirement date will be October 8th.
She's retiring. It's a
Retiring.
vastly different thing, Franklin. Please make sure those words are not interchanged ever.
She's retiring on October 8th.
But not resigning.
I didn't say resigning.
Yeah, you
Well,
did.
did I say oh, okay, I'm sorry, I did. Okay. I stand to be corrected on that. Ed just mentioned, there was a team and everything. Here's a card. Go from here from Laurie, Lane, and Franklin. Thank you for your support of our team during the Cabin Hills fire. Thanks again, Eastern Montana Type 2 Incident Management Team. Nice and sent the card like that.
That was very nice.
They seemed real good to work. I mean, there was,
They were super to work with.
okay, from the public service commissioners, it's Ryan Aaron doing business as Blacked Out 406, and Anita Wolf doing business as Wolf Transportation. What it is some Red Lodge tour and taxi.
What's next, Franklin?
Here's Tom Budowitz, here Franklin, Nicole, and Corey. As a follow-up, my letter of July 15th regarding the Marion Iverson estate, I enclosed for each of you a copy to Sherlock's order, July 31st, approving the proposed division of land as stated in that order. If you do not object to this order within 30 days, the certificate is surveyed and filed and a deed recorded. This comments about pipelines near schools and so on, it just says public official. I think Mike probably, for DES is probably, I'd say for you, so if you want to pick this up then before you leave.
Okay, thank you.
Claims on payroll, amount of $166,551.56.
Move to pay payroll in the amount stated.
Second.
Have moved and seconded, pay payroll, $166,551.56. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Is that the payroll one?
Yes. claims in the amount of $40,912.92.
Also move.
I will second.
Moved and second, pay claims in the amount of $40,912.92. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
You didn't sign it.
No, I said not signed. My name was on it there. Claims here in the total of $9,450.06.
Move to approve those fiscal year 16 claims in the stated amount.
Second.
Move to second, pay claims in the amount of $9,450.06. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, we got, claim of the City of Townsend, water and sewer and garbage for the ambulance building, $64.80.
On that, before we vote, I think the claim states from Pilt. We asked to have a separate account set up for that to be taken out of not from Pilt, but from more of a contingency fund. So I would like to make sure that that was done before paying this bill, so that it's not just a Pilt expenditure.
What is that
It isn't for Pill, it just, fund, what's Fund 2900?
built?
Is that Pill? Okay. So then it has to be written down here that it's.
No, it needs to get a different claim form, because this is taking it out of Pilt. And we didn't wanna do that, we wanted to come out of the
Oh,
contingency
okay.
fund. So that needs to go back to Tammy and get a different one. Right?
Yes. And that may not be something Tammy's necessarily aware of.
Oh, sure.
New fiscal year.
Rocky Mountain, you're probably more aware of this, Elaine, provision for in-home care service for the elderly and so on, in Rocky County Health Department. This is,
Rocky.
okay, is this just, is this a contract we are,
We'll go to the back, see for the signature pages. It's already been
oh, it's
signed.
been signed, yeah. Oh, this is the, must be the copy they sent back to us then.
Mhm.
Mike, leave, or?
I think he had a phone call, I just went up to it.
Oh, okay, I assume you're gonna be here on this, this declaration of authority to, got anything for it or not? Yeah, let's see, we'll go through it. Okay, this is, on, Julie was, one, assistant. This is,
No, it's not an assistant. I think that's another clarity that needs to be made.
for sanitation and training, which, anyway, this comes from, Tim Rourke, Dalton County. Basically, she wasn't out of line what she wanted to pay. sanitarian training and license and so on is required.
I think this stuff should be kept with the budget, so that we can go ahead and make a decision and let Julie know where
Well,
she stands. Probably another appointment with Julie to work that through would be a good idea.
Mhm. That makes good sense.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead with this decision to adopt a resolution for Captain Gulch Fire approval and return declaration of authority. Is there any comments on that?
You need copies of that, Commissioner?
We had one that was sent here quite a while ago.
Sure.
I move to sign the resolution.
Second.
Is moved or seconded?
Where's the code?
So we're gonna review the dates on this. This was sent from the state about, been on the agenda about 3 different times.
Commissioner, have copies of this?
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Is it-
There it is.
Mike?
Yes.
Here. This is one that, they were saying, this is one they've already signed and everything.
Well, the commission, that was the, I think this was delegation of authority, I believe.
Is that the authority? No, I think that's the one that, here's his note here, let's see.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's,
This here is a lease for the, for the building.
that's true.
This is what we want.
I'm
You can sign this copy after you adopt it, you can sign this, and then give it to Ann, and she'll do what she does with it.
That's right, that was, I
Here.
think, that's the next one on the agenda.
Did you make the motion?
I did.
Second.
Motion was made second to release authority back to the,
Excuse me, no, the motion was to sign the resolution.
okay, sign the resolution relating to Captain Gulch Fire. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Motion passed.
now I move to approve and return the declaration of authority regarding the Cabot Gulch fire.
Second.
Move to second to return the declaration of authority to the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have the returning of authority already signed by Elaine, which I'll just pass back to Aaron.
So these are, you want these two signed then, Mike, too, or do you think we should, or what's?
Well, I would think the commissioners would want to sign the resolution, all three commissioners.
Just need to sign one copy of it, Franklin.
And we need a original of your declaration of authority so that Ann can record that, Franklin, and we can make that official.
Let's see, the declaration of authority is down at the Ranger District, and they probably have the original. down there where everybody's signed. And Corey Llewellyn, I think, is on the annual leave this week.
Do you have just a blank one that we can sign again to make it an original?
Well, it wouldn't have the signatures of John Houston or the,
No, this is just the one pager that the county did. It's the one that Corey drafted.
Oh.
Corey Swanson.
well, you were gonna put it on your letterhead. I can go get a piece of that, and that's right. This is just for DNRC.
Yeah, we need the one that the county signed one of the 10 o'clock meetings, the
Sure.
first 10 o'clock meeting.
Okay,
Yeah. Did you send that to me electronically?
I did,
Okay.
but I have it on a thumb drive, and I'll go get a piece of stationery,
Okay.
commission stationery.
Or ask Debbie or Tammy to put it on letterhead, that'll work too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'll do that.
thanks, Mike. Sorry about that. We could probably motor on and then just do that when he comes back, since the vote's already been taken.
He's the next on the agenda.
Well, he is at 11:15, which we're early anyway, so we could motor on with mail, Chairman. And minutes. Thanks, Ann.
Here for minutes.
What are the dates on?
This is August 3rd and July 27th. July 27th, we already did what we did.
Franklin, at the last meeting, you refused to second the motion to approve those, so nothing was done on them.
And we only had 2 commissioners.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I will move that we approve the minutes for July 27 and August 3 as submitted.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to accept the minutes for July 27th, August 3rd. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? No.
I would like to thank and commend the Broadwater Reporter for asking for our minutes to be published again. I know Ann has been submitting those for about the past year, but they just weren't published. So thank you to the Broadwater Reporter. I think that's a great service to our citizens.
Jump ahead into this. Cover revenue lease, Broward County office space. And like I said, last one, I believe it was about $20 a month more. I was asked to find out what it was.
I would like to request a table that until it comes up on the agenda at 11:30, just in case anybody wants to come in here.
A little while ago, you said we start moving it forward. And since we're waiting for,
There's plenty of
Money.
mail. There's 3 more pieces of mail that we could take care of. That is
I don't think there's any more
actually
mail.
4.
Well, this is the mail, this was put on on the salary commission compensation thing, but, there's more mail.
There was a letter from Michelle Christensen. Can we have that brought forward, please?
I have one, but didn't everybody get their own?
We did, it still is commission mail, but
Right,
the chairman
but I
should.
just
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, 'cause-
If you need to help him.
yeah, I had that over here, yeah, that's just, each one was individually. You
Franklin,
read
it's
it, Elaine,
commission
right?
mail, so it needs to be brought out for public disclosure.
So read it.
You read it, Elaine.
I've read it.
Read the whole thing?
Yes, please.
Okay. Your County Commissioners, we are closing out the fair for 2015. It's time for me to notify that I will be resigning as fair manager effective December 31st, 2015. I worked in this capacity for the last 14 fairs and enjoyed every one of them. We have a wonderful fair board that is so easy to work with. The rodeo club has new leadership, and the conflicts that have been risen in the past have been resolved. Both boards are working well together. I have had the pleasure to work with some of the most generous and amazing people in our county. They have given of their time, and there are many talents ready to make each fair a success. The fair board has interviewed Jessica Hirsch for the position of fair manager and has offered her the job. She will be a great asset as fair manager. She is very personable, has great computer skills, and will help to see that the future fair rodeos move forward. She has served on the fair board for the past 5 years and is well acquainted with this position. She will take over January 1st, 2016. I want you to know that what a wonderful learning experience this has been for me. We have lived in the county for over 40 years and attended many of the fairs and rodeos, but for me to learn the inside workings of these organizations has taught me much. I am grateful for the job and the association I've had with so many good people. The county employees are dedicated to their jobs, but always with a friendly smile. I will truly miss working. I appreciate your support over the years. I feel that I am leaving the fair board in good hands. Thank you for all your help. Michelle Christensen.
I think we need to send her recognition.
Yeah, she and Linda both. A copy of that, Franklin, should be taken to Debbie as payroll. There's a lot of things she needs to do to take care of anybody who's retiring. She stamped the letter from Linda Campbell. She'll need to take care of the same thing with Michelle. So if you would leave that with Debbie, that would be good. With the budget, while Franklin looks for any more mail, there's a connect in there too somewhere. We have the valuations that came in last week. When you count 30 days per law, that needs to be set the 31st of August. So we are down to 21 days. I would like to get an update, maybe after Mike comes back, on what was discussed last week on the budget, and also, since I was gone, and also talk about how we want to proceed with the cemetery. Oh, and I will be gone the 24th in the morning. So, do you want to just have an afternoon? Do you want to still have a full morning? Do you want to have it on Wednesday?
So let's just go to Wednesday.
Okay, that would
If
work
that
for
works for
me.
everybody else.
What's that?
Instead of meeting on the 24th.
We are on the 26th.
Mhm.
I would suggest that we have most of that day, maybe all morning, reserved for final touches to the budget. It would be nice to take care of both the mills and the departmental on the same day.
Starting right after the public comment. Budget review,
Mhm.
okay.
And decisions, departmental decisions.
Budget review
And decisions.
and decisions, slash, or you want a comma?
I
You
would
want a comma or
say,
you want a slash?
I would say the and sign.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ann. Thank you, Mike.
Well, thank
And
you.
apologize for not having gotten that
Well, that's all
done.
right, great,
Yeah,
we figured out how to do it.
Okay, what was that for the 31st, you said?
31st will be the final budget decision, public hearing, adopt the budget. And I would suggest that you let Debbie go ahead and take care of that.
On the agenda?
Mhm. She'll need to get the legal ad done, and put that in the agenda, determine the time.
Get legal ad and so on, right? Get legal.
ready for me?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry about that.
Sorry, I'm late.
Please sign that letter.
Right here.
For the record, Mike Conkey, DES Coordinator. We're going to talk about our Emergency Management Performance Grant. And this is the federal grant that we get from FEMA every year.
Thank you.
Each local government gets an opportunity to participate in it. Its purpose is to help local governments fund and operate emergency management programs, prepare the communities for disaster or emergency situations. It's 50% federal money and 25% local match. We have requested the $26,902.05 and county match. We have $5,000 of in-kind, which we usually exceed that. We're about $3,000 ahead of that right now this fiscal year. And the hard match is for $21,902.05. Total grant project is that amount. On page 2 of this little update, you will see a copy of the federal fiscal year 2015 proposed. The commission approved this interimly on the 6th of April. And it's in the record, you know, in the minutes and stuff like that. So now that was kind of an interim approval, gave us permission to apply for this. And this is kind of how we put together our little budget. We used to do these on hard copy, and I'm working very closely with Mia McVill. She does so well at this. It's gone online, and it's a new program that went to the DES. We used it for a request for next year's Homeland Security grant right now. And since then, it's editing of the software program, and it's still work in progress. Anyway, she's going to help me. And some of these categories have changed under the new website, but she'll take care of all that. Bottom line is all the same. I think we bottom line budget in our county anyway. And so anyway, that's what we want to do today. And let's talk about that. There are copies for anybody that knows them. See anybody in the newspaper? So what we have to do today is the commissions have to go ahead and approve. They'll go ahead, this grant, approve this grant. You gave me tentative approval back in April. Now we're going to submit this as our proposal. And then we have some documents to sign. These are just copies. I have the original documents. This is a letter that I put on
Thank you.
your commission stationery. I think we do this every year. Laura signed one last year. It's just it's their letter, and all we do is put it on your stationery. It's a commitment that's show that we have money available to do that. I have money in my budget to do that. The second thing on here is I got those sorted wrong. Page 2 is supposed to be, or page 3 is supposed to be page 2. That's the legal document. I did read all that stuff. That makes sure we comply with ADA, environmental protection, all this stuff. There's a lot in there. And we sign it every year. It's a different format this year. Smaller print, used to be about 4 or 5 pages long. Now it's 2. So when it comes time to signing these letters, I have the original letter here, and then there's a box. And what I do then is I'll scan these and then electronically send them to Montana DES, and we keep the originals. So, any questions for me on this program? This grant, this is the Uranium grant.
No.
It was final approval, is what you were.
Today is final approval, yes. You gave me interim approval to apply for the grant. A grant now is going to be awarded to us, and we have to put in a final package of how we plan, what projects we're going to work on. We had to identify a bunch of projects on different things. Like, for instance, if we're going to update our emergency operations plan, we had to identify which annexes. So we're going to address evacuation and public warning information, stuff like that. Homeland Security, they're always in transition, you know, gosh, about every 3 or 4 years. They like to kind of do everything different and give us different goals and different objectives, and that's fine. It's all part of the process. So I put together a package, and Bob Fry had been through. I met him, his incident management team went on fire, and I met him not Not this Saturday, the Saturday before, out at the site house to visit with him on, get it all. He happened to be fishing out there. He wanted me to run this by him before I present it to our commission. Because that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, it looks good to me, Mike. I would move that we approve and sign the Emergency Management Performance Grant on behalf of our DES coordinator, Mike Conkey.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. So it's the EPG grant as stated in that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you, commissioners. This is the letter that on these documents just have a place for the chairperson, chairman to sign. They don't have all three people. We need a signature right there. Here, I'll give you that. You got a blue pen? Here, I got blue. They like blue because it shows up. I can tell. Okay, and then the yellow here, just put your little signature.
In the yellow.
In that box, yes, please.
Right there.
Yes. Thank you. Katie, thank you very much. While we're here, I'm gonna talk about a couple other things. I submitted a CIP request, capital improvement request for DES. I believe it was on the agenda last Monday, but no action was taken. And I think it wasn't it in the afternoon? I can't remember. Was that meeting canceled?
Well, I had to leave in the afternoon, so I don't know, was it tabled?
We taking action on that? Or did you take, I didn't. No, I'm sorry. We'll carry on that.
You weren't there, were you?
Well, no, I wasn't.
Okay.
I didn't, I checked it, then I came up here and you guys were gone.
Okay.
No, I wasn't there and neither was we.
We just tabled it because you were there to explain.
But I didn't bring that paperwork, remember, handed it out,
Mhm.
and we're gonna get a vehicle, 2002 Durango, I think it is, from the sheriff's office. And, but to do that, we need to set that up. The commission has to do that, I can't do that. The commission has to approve that. And the money I had left, county money, I had left in my budget, the request was to put in there for that CIP. I don't know how much it was. They haven't got done with journal entries. They have to take some of the payroll and put it for the first pay period in this fiscal year. So I gotta take some of that and put it back in June. I can take some of it and put it in July. And that's all. So I don't know how much money I have left.
So we need to put this back on the agenda.
I don't know what your procedure is.
I would suggest that we define what our budget discussion will be next week. One could be the SIT for Julie, two can be the CIP for Mike and for Weed.
Yeah, I think we, just,
Okay,
budget,
sure.
budget cover.
Okay, that'd be great. List those as items you want to
Yeah,
address.
they should be listed as items on the agenda, and those
Okay.
people called in.
I'll mention that
advised they need
to
to be here.
Debbie and then she can Kelly, which is doing the language for the original. She can include this with the right up to speed. Any questions on that for me? I have another issue I want to update you on. On Tuesday of last week, about 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes to 12 noon, Robbie Nyhart works for WWC. Sean Higley was out of town last week. Robbie called me and asked me would I be interested in sitting in a conference call between him, Montana DES, and FEMA down in Denver. I said, well, sure. So he gave me the agent number and he gave me a PIN number, and I got on that conference call. That conference call was dealing with the Deep Creek 2011 flood, Deep Creek flood mitigation project. And FEMA had requested some information from WWC, well, actually through the county, but we passed that on to WWC. I think I might have sent you those notices. Those are probably 90-day-old requests. And FEMA wanted to talk to WWC. Robbie handled that for WWC because Sean Higley was out of town on annual leave. And they had some questions on engineering things, benefit cost analysis, BCA, threw that term around. I had to ask them, what are you talking about? They have a program, a software program. So they need some information, and the deadline for that is this Wednesday, at 5 o'clock, the 12th. So after the conversation, I visited with Robbie, called him back, and wanted to know, can he get that stuff in? He said he would. He was gonna work with Dana, some of the stuff. They had some questions, like one of our bridges wash out. For instance, let's say the one at Lightning Barn or Dana's house. What's the drive around inconvenience for the people to go around? That's one of their cost benefit analysis. Little items they need to return. And then how long would it take the road crew to put that bridge back in or culverts back in? And that's all stuff Dana addressed. And Robbie wanted Dana's personal phone number, and all he has is a personal cell phone. I did give that to him. And of course, Dana was out of town. So they're gonna follow up on this. I ran into Sean Higley in Helena Friday, I believe it was, and visited with him. He had just came back from annual leave. He hadn't gone to work yet. And I visited with him and said that we'd like to have him address this as a top priority. See if he could work with Robbie and get this going. Make sure they meet the deadline on what kind of requests they want. He said it would be a top priority for his firm Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to get this in. And if he needed any help, I would like to help him any way possible. And some of the stuff they've asked is highly technical engineering things. It's a cost-benefit analysis that you run through a computer and you fill in different things, you know. And then they ask about different engineering things about, remember we did a LiDAR, that's where they flew that at different elevations. And what's the elevation of the existing culvert in relationship to the new bridge, how high they're gonna get above the existing culverts. And they asked all of that kind of stuff. I can't answer those correctly. So WWC is gonna work on that. One of the things they did say at the end of the conversation, there was 3 people from FEMA on it. I listened and tried to take some notes. They said that the grant projects have to be done, finished by the 30th of March 2016, which is next month. And Nadine Wadsworth, who represented Montana DES on this conference, said that she was going to file for an extension of that. And of course, FEMA asked her if she knew how to do that, and she said would be filing for that. Montana DES would be filing for that. This not only affects our project, but some other county projects relating back to the 2011 flood. So I told him, told Sean that this is very critical. We have 3 county bridges, the public works project are a top priority. One would be to fix the Clopton Bridge at the south side there. Maybe Ed can drive by Clopton today and show them on Clopton Bridge. I don't think the commissioner's ever been out there.
I have, yeah, we had a meeting out there.
Oh, okay, where it's under,
A couple years ago.
under Tony.
Yeah, specifically about the
And I
flooding.
think they could save that bridge without rebuilding it. Then they wanted, the other is Carlson Lane and Lightning Barn, those culverts, replace those with concrete structures with bridge. And remember, that's a 75-25% match. And we've got some match already, I think, with our, did we get an ICAP? Well,
No, we were gonna get a TSAP to
TSAP.
for the match, but we didn't get it.
oh, okay, we
They
didn't get that.
redid their whole structure.
Oh, we had to get a legislative approval.
Right.
Appropriations, and that was taken out.
Yeah,
Then we had a little money from DNRC, didn't we? Grant.
yeah, I
And I
don't
think we're
remember
gonna do
how
some of
much.
that. And then I think the way Sean had it laid out is some of the work for the construction of the bridge, we're gonna count as county in-kind, like removing the culverts. Okay, we better do that. Then if the bridge is up a little bit higher than the roadway, that has to be filled in, and the road has to be brought up. That would all be done by the Rodwell County Road and Bridge crew. And those would be our in-kind. And we have hourly rates we can take, say what hourly rate on equipment, as well as personnel, and then any materials we supply, like backfill, gravel, and stuff like that. We think, Sean thinks we have plenty of 25% match on this.
Okay, good.
So that's kind of where we're at. I just want to give you an update. It's new. I was gonna put it in an email, and there was so much of it, I just couldn't grapple with it. And I had an appointment with you, so I thought I would sit and do it.
Yeah.
That's very critical. If anybody happens to, I'll call Sean today, follow up on it, see how they're doing. If they need anything from our county, that has to be a top priority this week.
Mhm.
Get that in and get those approved. Remember, we got so much money for phase 1. And that's what Sean's operating on right now, is phase 1 money. If he spends us a bill, then that's, we pay it, then we get reimbursement from Montana DES as part of phase 1. And now, the other thing that came up in the conversation was the Flynn Lane and Dry Creek project. Remember, we got turned down originally, and Sean has went through and made an appeal, along with Montana DES, to appeal that, and that's not this Wednesday deadline, there's another deadline coming out. They requested more information on that engineering stuff, and that's coming down the road. Sean said that even though they had billed us for some of those costs, we're not to pay those. They're doing that just with, right now at this time, they're taking a risk, hope it'll get approved, and there will be a phase 1 period, that'll cover this engineering stuff, the cost of preparing the grant application, the engineering work, and then any other questions. So right now, that's WWC. I have no spending authority for that. The commission has not appropriated money for that. Usually on these federal grants, we usually go through a formal process of adoption, just like we did here. Then when that comes in, we spend that money out of the county treasury, and then we apply for a reimbursement. Just like we did on the radios, just like we're gonna do on EMPG. And then that's my responsibility every quarter to work with Tammy Rouser to get this information submitted to Montana DES and get the checks back into our treasury. And then those are direct deposits, and then usually I work with Melissa down there, make sure it gets into the right fund. That way the county general fund's reimbursed. And that's just the way FEMA does business. They don't put anything up front. We buy it, spend it, pay it, request a reimbursement. Any questions for I'm over? Thank you, Commissioner.
No, good information, though, Mike, thank you.
Thank you for your signatures, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks for the
Sounds
job.
good.
Well, thank you. Yep, you're up next.
Until noon. I assume it's noon. It says 12 a.m., but I didn't make that.
Does it really?
Where were you?
Sleeping.
They were all waiting for you.
Sitting here waiting.
It was too
Yeah.
morning.
I was gonna have pages.
Dark.
I was gonna have pages, but they said not.
Thanks, Mike.
So I will have the truck at the back door at noon. Is that still
What are you
working?
taking?
We're taking the Jaws truck. It's a 4-door.
How high is it to get in?
It does have a step on it. So we'll figure out something if we need to.
Well, because I was thinking of bringing the orange outfit, and I thought, I can't get in that.
Yeah, that one's higher than this one.
Yeah.
But I don't have that one anymore.
Oh, don't you? Where'd it go?
It went back to the state.
Huh.
And I got a blue utility box, covered box pickup right now that's commanded. And that belongs to us. It was one of those DOD deals. All I had to do was go get it.
That is good.
What year is that truck?
2000.
Everything worked out pretty good? In it?
Yeah. Yeah, when they gave me the information on it, they told me that it would drive 10 or about 20 feet and quit. I thought, wow, I talked to some guys and they says, well, it might need a fuel pump. I said, well, still a pretty cheap truck. Went up with a trailer, brought it back, unloaded it, checked the battery, it was dead, put the charger on it. The next morning I started the truck and ran it for a little bit, it was fine. Shut it off, made sure the battery was gonna hold. Did, I took it out the next day, drove it around and put some gas in it and haven't had any problems since.
Hmm.
Cool.
Good enough.
And the price was right.
Exactly. Cost me $100. For fuel
That's a
and-
tall utility box, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it's real high, I'm not gonna go,
Okay. It shouldn't be too bad.
but
We won't
otherwise.
have to get out or anything, I don't
Okay.
think. Now, you guys wanna go to Plumpton Bridge too? I didn't know about that.
No, I don't think we have
I
to.
think we've all been there.
All right.
Okay, let's see.
See you in a bit.
Department of Revenue lease, Broward County office space.
I move to sign said lease.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. sign the lease with, Department of Revenue. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Let's see. But Mike left his pen, that's his blue one, isn't it, too? I'll make sure he gets that back. Eight.
10.
10. Thank you.
This paperwork has been around cigarettes or cigars.
Oh, really?
Mhm. It certainly smells like it anyway.
It's amazing how that lingers.
Mm. Can you smell?
Yeah, I sure can.
I didn't think anybody smoked cigars anymore.
There you go. While we're waiting, I have a request from Corey. This is a memorandum of understanding that Corey will represent both the county and the city as an attorney. He requested that we bring that forward and sign it. Ongoing business, so I move to sign the memorandum of understanding from Corey.
A second to motion.
Move to second, accept this memorandum that County Attorney Corey made up. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Now, he's gone right now, isn't he?
Yeah, for 3 weeks.
This is just the chairman who signs this here then.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Jump ahead a little bit on the COS, so I'm sure that, but Val, and I give each one of you that, and she said she'd come in if we need her. From the Salary Compensation Board. You want this read off?
Yes, please.
Recommendation from the Broadwater County Compensation Board to the County Commissioners. It's July 28, 2015. And this is sent to the three of us. The Justice of the Peace and the Clerk of District Court received the 2000 allotment, which was allowed in the passage of House Bill 366. All elected county officials at 36 an hour increase for the county to continue to pay the insurance increase, which was effective April 2015. We are also recommending that the same amount be given to other employees of Broadwater County within the limits allowed by law. The the county attorney has the option to place his raise into another budget line item if he chooses. Thank you for your consideration.
This was, I think, a fabulous discussion
Mhm.
at that meeting. We came up with these 3 points. Without any other comment, and I don't know that we need to have Val come in, I would move that we accept the recommendations of the county compensation board as stated.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded, accept the recommendation of the county compensation board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Since this is budget related, could I get an answer or a reason, please, Franklin? What is it that you object to?
The what?
You voted no. Why?
Yes. I voted last year no on the 56 cent an hour raise. And I don't think the county can afford these raises.
But you've looked at the budget, right? I mean, you've done some homework on the budget, right?
That's my decision. But I don't think the county can afford it.
Okay, I will state for the record that I think the reason for that response is that Franklin just doesn't understand the budget and hasn't done any, it's clear he hasn't done any homework into the budget whatsoever. I have a question on the detention center reimbursement agreement. We got this, it was vetted by Corey, but it does show a raise to $65.95. I believe that has to be done during the budgeting season by way of a public process. And I don't remember the specifics on that, but I think we should make sure that we follow that before signing this contract, this agreement. Every year they're allowed to go up by, I believe, $3. So I just want to make sure we follow that. We're at 63, if they want to go to 65, we're within that, but what is the process? So Franklin, those are some of the things you usually jump on, so I would ask.
How many
Mr.
things on
Chairman.
this budget do you want to list on there? We put down budget review and decisions, and apparently Mike is going to be it, right? Do you want all these listed, or just say listed department heads
Just the ones
recommended?
mentioned so far. I don't know that this necessarily needs to be listed at this point. I think what we need from you as chairman is for you to talk to the sheriff and find out what is the process. I believe this is a resolution, I could be wrong, but I want to make sure we follow the process of increasing the amount for the detention center inmates who are from out of county.
On the, what's it worded, the detention,
Detention center reimbursement agreement. Perhaps this is all that needs to be done, but I want to clarify that and have an answer.
reimbursable account. Okay, back on this one here on that budget one on Wednesday. Budget review and decision, that's all I have so far. Just put on there.
Okay, I have a question then. Was there any reaction, any confusion or questions from Extension, Sheriff, or Weed at last week's afternoon meeting with them on the budget that we need to follow up on?
At that time, I didn't think there was enough, and I agree with their information to go any farther, so we just left it as it was. Didn't do anything with it, you know.
Did you share with the sheriff anything about the detective?
About the what?
The detective?
No, that wasn't brought to us anyway.
Okay, how do you guys wanna handle that then, I guess? We only have 3 weeks, really 26 days from today till our final meeting on the budget. My thinking is if we need to have a decision, solid decision, we talked about it. We did make the motion on the sanitarian and training. We should also have it as a matter of vote that we are creating a CIP per law. We have to do that for DES and weed. And I think it would be nice to let the sheriff know that we've approved her getting a detective. We should make that a matter of public record.
We've approved it.
We talked about it,
We
Franklin.
talked about it, I don't think we ever approved it.
Well, yeah, we
No,
did,
no,
but what we
just-
need to do
talked
is,
to it.
yeah. We did approve it. We said, what are the priorities here that we are going to prioritize and approve first? The detective was number one. Others were all waiting to make sure we had the money. So, yes, you should let the sheriff know that, but we should probably put it on the agenda, so there is no confusion. So those are the only things I would suggest at this point, unless there's any other questions on the agenda that, haven't been brought up yet for the budget.
Okay, that's back to where I said there. You want, how do you want those listed? You want the DES CIP listed?
You can go back to your old agendas and use the same language for this
We don't-
CIP.
Okay, I'm gonna put DES CIP.
Franklin, it's not only DES. The past agenda says CIP for DES and weed. So I
Okay,
think
now
we need to
I'm gonna
address
put
them
the
all,
same
not
thing
just
with
pick
weed.
one or another.
Okay, now what other ones do you want listed? You say?
Just the ones
Sheriff?
we've talked about is all I can come up with. Do you guys have any to add? Or are we pretty solid in the budget
I think
at
we're
this
solid.
point? I do too.
Did I hear you say that the labor agreement has been signed or agreed?
It has been tentatively agreed to.